There's a quiet civil war going on in the Democratic Party right now. You have an extreme left, radical left, versus the mainstream moderate Democrat. I believe that far left will destroy the Democratic Party.
That is former disgraced governor, Democrat Andrew Cuomo, who wanted to be the mayor of New York City, and now he won't be. His entire political career down in flames. But he's talking about the Civil War because, you know, the Democrat Party is the party of the first American Civil War. And look where they are now. Well, very good Wednesday to you, and welcome back once again. We may be reached at 888-630-9625. A really big off-year election day yesterday. And we're still in the midst of a government shutdown, now the longest government shutdown in the history of the country, 36 days. The Schumer shutdown, the Democrat Party shutdown. Republicans have voted to reopen the government 14 times in the Senate. The Democrats have voted 14 times to shut down the government. Democrat elected politicians and their media bootlicks have continued to lie and lie and lie about all of that. And but boy, the Democrats pretty much cleared the table in New York City, in New Jersey, in Virginia, and beyond. We're still waiting to see whether the jihadi will become the mayor of Minneapolis, Minnesota. But I'm going to go ahead and guess that after they're done counting all the votes, you know, it's not your votes that count; it's who counts the votes. And the Stalinists taught that to the Democrat Party. Also in Virginia, that lady who I don't like very much, she went on and on and on last night. Boy, did she go on and on last night. And the lieutenant governor, also Democrats won the lieutenant governor, the governor's race in Virginia, the governor's race in New Jersey, the mayor's race in New York City. And in Virginia, in addition to winning the governor's race, the lieutenant governor and, of course, the two bullets to the head guy will become the Democrat chief law enforcement officer in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Just extraordinary stuff. And the two bullets to the head guy, Jay Jones, he's going to become the new chief law enforcement officer. And isn't that amazing? He wanted to murder the children of the Republican speaker. He wanted to shoot the Republican speaker in the head twice while letting Adolf Hitler live and letting Pol Pot live. I don't think that is very good, but the Democrats do. And Democrats voted for that by the millions because they're the left. They're commies, you know, and they love murder. Just extraordinary. You may remember Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, tweeting about Jay Jones, the Democrat who was then running for and has now been victorious in his bid for Attorney General in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And J.D. Vance said, "This is far worse than anything said in a college group chat." And the guy who said it could become the AG of Virginia. Isn't that amazing? I refuse to join the pearl clutching when the powerful people call for political violence, which is what he's doing here. Man, oh man, oh man. This guy, Jay Jones, he won yesterday because Democrats came out and voted for him by the hundreds of thousands for sure. And he's very happy to be the incoming chief law enforcement officer. He, of course, wanted to shoot the Republican Speaker of the House in the head twice if in a room with Adolf Hitler and Pol Pot and the Republican Speaker, and he only had two bullets in his gun, as so many Democrats do. He would use both bullets to shoot the Republican Speaker in the head and murder him. And then he went on to say that he really wants his children to die in the arms of their mother because that's the only way change takes place, he said. Only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy. So he wants to murder children in the arms of their mother in order to move on policy, which is what he said in his text messages. And the Democrat Party looked at that and said, well, I don't completely approve of that, but I'm going to vote for him, and he's fine, and he'll be the chief law enforcement officer. Isn't that amazing? Man, oh man, oh man. The Democrat Party, such as it is in 2025. Yes, sir. And our news media, of course, pay no attention to everything going on there. Just extraordinary. Boy, that's crazy stuff. All right, let us get back to a couple of audios now. Let's go to Zoran Mamdani, because he is the new leader of the Democrat Party in America. Barack Obama has been sidelined, and Barack Obama backed Zoran Mamdani. Barack Obama he's got problems with Islam and Islamism and the Muslims and all that. But here's Zoran Mamdani last night declaring, hey, Zoran, let's pretend this is like your dating app. How would you describe yourself?
The conventional wisdom would tell you that I am far from the perfect candidate. I am young, despite my best efforts to grow older.
Best efforts to grow older.
I am Muslim.
And the crowd goes wild.
Democratic socialist.
They're all white liberals. They're all white liberals cheering.
And most damning of all, I refuse to apologize for any of this.
Nobody asked for an apology, but, commies and Islamists been murdering people in extraordinarily large numbers. Of course, in their ongoing efforts to enslave the people that they don't murder. And the Democrat, you see what they've done to the youth of America. You hear them cheering and going wild. Like Barack Obama when he said that he was going to slow the rise of the oceans. They go wild. We've raised generations of incredibly ignorant people. And the Democrats have done that through the schools and college campuses and propaganda from late-night TV to George Stephanopoulos at ABC Fake News. And then get a heaping load of this. Here he goes off on Eugene Debs. Now, almost nobody remembers who Eugene Debs is at this point, but Eugene Debs was the Socialist Party candidate for the presidency of the United States a century ago, more than a century ago. Isn't that amazing? And here is, and he's a commie. He went to prison because he was a radical extremist activist against Democrat progressive Woodrow Wilson's entry into World War I in Europe. And Eugene Debs was thrown in prison, but never mind that. And this is kind of an interesting story, actually, the Eugene Debs story. Here's in 1920, Eugene Debs ran for president of the United States from a prison cell. The Socialist Party promoted him as, when he was running for president of the United States in 1920 as a socialist, they ran him as convict 9653 for president, right? Because he was in the penitentiary, he was in prison, and the progressive Democrat administration, Woodrow Wilson, racist, segregationist, Democrat, progressive. But isn't that amazing? Eugene Debs ran for president 5 times. In 1900 as a social Democrat, in 1904, 1908, 1912, and 1920 as the nominee of the Socialist Party of America. The last time he ran from a prison cell in Atlanta, Georgia, having been sentenced to 10 years in prison for sedition. Now, here is Zoran Mamdani last night after winning the mayor's office in New York.
The sun may have set over our city this evening, but as Eugene Debs once said...
What? They're cheering Eugene Debs.
I can see the dawn of a better day for humanity.
Eugene Debs makes them go crazy. How does Eugene Debs make them go? 99 out of 100 of them couldn't give you 2 words on who Eugene Debs is, but they cheer. He cites Eugene Debs, unless they all came from some kind of communist camp in the woods where they got AK-47s and they've got gas chambers, because these people don't know who the hell Eugene Debs is. I wanted to make sure to share it before I even ran that soundbite. But the Democrat Party is now celebrating Eugene Debs. Again, socialist, communist, and particularly in that time, right around the time of the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia and St. Petersburg, Eugene Debs is running as a socialist, And, that's what they called themselves, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, the USSR, and all that. And Zoran Mamdani.
Standing before you, I think of the words of Jawaharlal Nehru.
Indian socialist.
A moment comes but rarely in history when we step out from the old to the new, when an age ends and when the soul of a nation long suppressed finds utterance. Tonight we have stepped out from the old into the new.
The soul of the nation has been long suppressed. I missed that part. The soul of the nation has been long suppressed. And the Indian socialist, Nehru, is the new hero. And they didn't go quite as wild for Nehru because they're racists. And, that some of them were even wearing Nehru colors. But that's not important now. Isn't that amazing? So he's citing Eugene Debs.
But as Eugene Debs once said,
and the crowd goes absolutely berserk. That is just insane. This is, the Barack Obama, we'll get to that in a minute, the fundamental transformation of America. The left is here. This is an anti-American movement that is happening inside of our country, and it is the Democrat Party. Make no mistake about it. This is the Democrat Party in 2025, and they are a danger to our constitutional republic. They're a danger. And here we come now back to the usual political claptrap.
We will prove that there is no problem too large for government to solve,
right,
and no concern too small for it to care about.
No problem too large. Your child's genitalia, for one. Speaking of which, in Virginia, you better try to secure your children because the Democrats elected there are all about children changing their genders, or at least pretending to, while the Democrats and the teachers play along. Isn't that amazing? Zoran Mamdani on his, I guess, former buddy, his erstwhile buddy, Andrew Cuomo.
My friends, we have toppled a political dynasty.
They go wild. Where the hell do they get these people? Don't ever go to New York City again. Yeah, the Cuomo dynasty.
I wish Andrew Cuomo only the best in private life.
In private life, he's not in government life.
Let tonight be the final time I utter his name.
The final time I utter his name, we go to the death camps.
As we turn the page on a politics that abandons the many and answers only to the few.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. And listen to the violent mob out there. They're completely berserk. Berserk, I tell you. Let's take a phone call, Michael. Let's go to John calling from Ron DeSantis' Florida. John, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Yes, and another thing, the old Virginia Confederate headquarters, this is the black woman.
That's right.
Like, of course. So what?
Yes. Well, that's right. And, The capital of the Confederacy for most of the Civil War was Richmond, Virginia, and that's where the Democrats were celebrating last night. No sense of irony.
And no comment. I've heard nothing about it except, this was the chance for, like, Barack Obama, the first black president, the first black female governor of Virginia.
Right.
What an opportunity. Nobody cares.
That's right. Nobody cares.
I guess they just hate Trump. And then, of course, if you're a defense counsel and Jay Jones, how do you go to the judge and say, well, look, Judge, the Attorney General said this, and this. Let my client off. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a good point, John. I got to say, people should be putting out what the Democrats like to call hate speech. They call everything hate speech. And then they elect this guy who would let Hitler and Pol Pot live and use both of his bullets, his only two bullets, blasting him through the skull of the Republican speaker in Richmond, in the state capital in Virginia. And it was the capital of the Confederate States of America. And today, during the American Civil War, which the Democrats did, and today, the Democrat Party, they are the Neo-Confederacy. And I've talked about this before. I was texting with my friend in Florida today, my friend Tom in Florida today, texting with him this morning about the Neo-Confederacy. and the Confederate States of America making a comeback. And you hear them going crazy in New York, screaming for what? For what are they? For Eugene Debs they're screaming for? The socialist communist who ran for president of the United States. And, you know, Barack Obama made the CIA director, John Brennan, who voted for the Communist Party candidate for the president of the United States. And Barack Obama was mentored by a member of the Communist Party, Frank Marshall Davis, and he brought in Van Jones, a proud, self-described communist, and it goes on and on and on. The Democrat Party is not an American political party anymore, and I don't care how much you hate Trump. Pull your head out of your own dark and remote location and smell the coffee here. Why don't you? Yeah, great stuff. Thank you, John. Good points. Good points. You know that the all-new third-generation Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifier has finally arrived, and it builds on the incredible success of the previous two generations, which already earned them thousands of five-star reviews on Al Gore's amazing internet and instant bestseller. The new Thunderstorm uses two technologies that studies have proven help to kill up to 99.9% of bacteria and viruses floating in the air that your family breathes. It removes dust and pet dander and smoke and a whole lot more, including any stinky, smelly odor. See, the Thunderstorm will get rid of any smell, stinky smell, guaranteed. Talking about kitty litter boxes, trash cans, cigarette smoke, liberal protesters. No match for the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. Right now, you can save $200 American on an Eden Pure Thunderstorm 3-pack for whole home protection because we hang out together. Put one in your basement, your bedroom, your kitchen, any place you like to breathe clean, fresh air. All you have to do is go to EdenPureDeals.com. Use the discount code CHRIS3, CHRIS, and the number 3 to save $200 on 3 Thunderstorms. That's EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is CHRIS3. Yes, sir. All right, plenty more coming up, and your phone calls as well. And I don't have enough time to go to a phone call and do the right thing with you, so I'll get to a phone call after the next break. And also, today is Mailbag Day. It's Mailbag Day here on the Chris Plante Show. In the Clinton household, it's Hump Day. It's Hump Day, we know that. But I have my mailbag questions in front of me right here, and I will be sharing them with you. The first one, as you might imagine, has to do with Election Day yesterday, the off-year elections yesterday, and a lot to talk about there. And there's much more in the mailbag today as well. And boy, what a day it is in America. The Democrat Party has committed suicide by way of autoerotic asphyxiation. All right, we have returned. We are at 888-630-9625. And I want to get to the mailbag shortly, but right now let's go back to the telephones. And let's go to Singhar, calling from Dumfries, Virginia. Singhar, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
Yep. So real quick, I've been an evangelical Christian my entire life. Since 97, I've been ahead, and the Republican Party has been untenable as of late. The bombing of Iran on behalf of Israel, the deification of Charlie Kirk, and then the J.D. Vance just excusing those racist remarks from out of that group chat. They were now all children. Most of them were over 30. And I'll take your response off the line, but just as a Republican, this is the first time in my entire life that I ever voted for Democrats.
Well, covered a lot of territory there. The group chat of the, I guess, teenagers who said unsavory things, that has nothing to do with the Republican Party. Charlie Kirk, you described it as the deification of Charlie Kirk. I think that might be a dramatic overstatement, but he was a conservative Christian political activist who was assassinated for being a conservative Christian activist, and I don't believe that he's been deified, but it has been pointed out that he was a good person, and assassinating people bad. I'm sure that you would agree with that. as an evangelical Christian. And as for dropping bombs on Iran's nuclear weapons facilities and capabilities, I know there are no easy calls when it comes to the Islamic bomb and Iran, which is, now, would you say, Singhor, that Iran is the world's leading state sponsor of terror? Oh, he dropped immediately. Oh, I see. That was a drive-by then. That was not legit at all. Okay. Well, I'm done talking about that then, because that wasn't legit. Not legit. Too legit to quit. I'm not sure if Singhor has been an evangelical Christian since any time. Defending Iran, attacking Charlie Kirk, and then making reference to some teenagers, I guess, on social media saying unsavory things. Well, I would compare that to the new Attorney General in Virginia, I guess, and ask how that one compares with the other. But that was I think a seminar caller, as they were once known, a drive-by shooting, and I don't trust what you said, Singer. I would like to, but I can't, and I don't. So thank you for that. Now we should go to a legitimate call. Let's go to Jim calling from Lexington Park, Maryland. Jimmy, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Thanks for taking my call, Mr. Plant.
Yes, sir.
I would like to know if Texas and Florida are going to set up border checkpoints. You know, California used to have agricultural checkpoints to get in the state.
Yes.
I think that Texas and Florida need to have checkpoints to keep New Yorkers out of their state.
Oh, now I see. To keep New Yorkers out of the state. Well, that's a fun idea and a good idea. I got to tell you, I think there's, what is it, in the last handful of years, more than 2 million people have left New York. It's about taxes. It's about too much government. It's about bad schools. It's about crazy leadership. It's about corruption. But Texas and Florida, you're right in that, Jim, they are in danger of being overrun by people fleeing crazy land. And then, of course, you know what happens when they get there, right, Jim?
They bring their politics.
That's right. They vote for crazy in Texas and in Florida. And that is not good. That's not what Texas needs. It's not what Florida needs. But checkpoints, to keep New Yorkers fleeing the madness that over the years they've all voted for and voted into power and into existence. And then, as always, they show up in Texas and they say, well, you know, I'll vote for it here because it's different here. And then the left, Jim, ruins everything everywhere they go. They destroy everything everywhere they go because they're the left. They're really socialists and commies, and they're anti-American and anti-capitalist and anti-law enforcement, and they're pro-crime and they're pro-open borders. And you really want nothing to do with them. They should be isolated to New York and Chicago or to California or something. But checkpoints, you think, for Texas and Florida might be a good idea. And I think that's kind of a fun thought. They should do something about preventing their states from being overrun by the crazy people.
Also, you know, we saw a horrendous 18-wheeler crash there in Florida.
Yeah.
They could be checking driver's licenses and illegals at the same time. I know it's going to take a lot, but they've got to do something to protect themselves.
Because California and the incident in Florida where the family was killed by the illegal alien who was given a commercial driver's license to drive an 18-wheeler all over the country. California gave the illegal alien that, and he couldn't pass the commercial driver's license test to save his life, didn't have command of the English language, couldn't read the signs, didn't pass the test. California gave him a commercial driver's license anyway, and the illegal alien, he failed the test 10 times in 2 months, and then the Democrats in California gave him a commercial driver's license. He drove to Florida where he did, that was the illegal, there are so many of them that have happened now. I think that was the illegal U-turn going around the no U-turn sign when he killed the family of three, all three of them killed. And the Democrats shrug and say, well, you know, we're open-minded. Even if you're not, then they call everybody racist, right?
That's it. I think we're on our way down, and it's going to take a lot before we hit bottom so we can come back up.
Yeah.
What a shame.
Well, yeah, and I tell you, Jim, yesterday I read a story, a poll that says that an enormous percentage of Americans, an enormous number of Americans, believe that we will see political assassinations in the upcoming years, and that would surprise absolutely no one. I saw President Trump getting on Air Force One this morning at Joint Base Andrews, at Andrews Air Force Base, headed to Florida. And I got it every time I see President Trump, I think about the danger that he's in every day because of the Democratic Party in the United States of America. And that is a fact, Jack. That is a fact, Jack. Jim, Lexington Park, Maryland, thank you very much. Thank you very much, my friend. Good stuff. Checkpoints, not a bad idea. Certainly when it comes to moving on illegal alien truck drivers and the big rigs, the 18-wheelers and so on. All right, now let me jump into the mailbag day. Nona asks, I'll leave out the last name, Nona F. I don't want to use full names. Post-election question, say, got a colon there. What now? What now? That's a great question. And Nona, we forge ahead, we regroup, we tell the truth. We don't go to New York City for any reason at all. In Virginia, you bring your children in closer to you than ever before. You watch what's going on in school because the Democrats that were elected by the Democrats in Virginia want to sever your children's genitalia and pretend that they're changing genders. They're going to raise taxes on everything. They're on the wrong side of everything. We watch them very closely. We speak up, and we remain the civilized party, the civil party, the adult party, the nonviolent party. We remain the adults in the room because we're on the side of America. We're on the side of good and not evil, and we reveal the evildoers as the criminals and the lunatics that they are. But we represent truth, justice, and the American way as we forge ahead. And we do not accept the madness, and we speak up about it. But we speak up about it in an adult and civil fashion because we are the good guys. But we must go forward. We must go ahead, Nona. It's all we can do. And, and there are more elections, but we've got to win, and it's going to be a long, hard slog because the Democrat Party has been so horribly corrupted. RFK Jr. said that his father and his uncle, RFK and JFK, would find today's Democrat Party unrecognizable. And boy, that's understatement after yesterday's episodes. And honestly, the Attorney General of Virginia, who would let Hitler and Pol Pot live and put 2 bullets in the head of the closest Republican and then murder his children in the arms of their mother because he thinks that's the way to policy changes. That's the Democrat Party today. If you're a Democrat, I'm happy to engage with you and talk to you. Not like Singhor over here with his own issues, but that's another thing. And D asks, can we revise the filibuster to require actual talking to exhaustion? The old Mr. Smith goes to Washington, you got to be on the floor of the Senate, and you can hold the microphone in the floor as long as you continue talking, which is fun, and it is always fun. They can still do that if they want, by the way. But it's been so abused and corrupted. And since we're scrutinizing the Senate, can we require them to show up for their jobs? Well, the Senate rules are very specific, and some people actually know them, not many people. But, they have to be shamed into showing up. You can't order them to show up. President Trump has an idea when it comes to the filibuster, though, and he's become very clear. He wants the Republicans in the Senate to do away with the filibuster and start passing every Republican bill that the Republicans want to pass because the Democrats are holding everything up. And President Trump talked about that today as he was headed out to Florida.
It's time for Republicans to do what they have to do, and that's terminate the filibuster. It's the only way you can do it. And if you don't terminate the filibuster, you'll be in bad shape. We won't pass any legislation. There'll be no legislation passed for 3.25. We have 3.25 years, so it's a long time.
Yeah, and the Democrats will create gridlock because they can. They will cripple government. They voted 14 times to shut government down. They lie about it. They blame Republicans. The news media lies about it. They blame Republicans. and they're going to fire on Fort Sumter one of these days, no doubt about it. And I was not in favor of doing away with the filibuster. And I got to say, and President Trump also said, I think he said yesterday, that the moment the Democrats take over again at some point in the future, the filibuster, and that they're going, the Senate rather, they're going to do away with the filibuster.
By the way, if they do, they're going to do it anyway, and they are going to immediately do the filibuster. And when they do the filibuster, they're going to pack the court. They want at least five justices. Now I hear it's up to 5. I actually heard up to 7 and up to 9, okay? They're going to pack the court. They're going to make D.C. a state, and they're going to make Puerto Rico a state. So now they pick up 2 states. They pick up 4 senators, okay? You think you have problems? They're going to do all of the things. They're going to pick up electoral votes. It's going to be a very, very bad situation.
And the Democrats under Barack Obama, under Harry Reid as the leader of the Senate, Harry the Body Reid, they did away with the filibuster to give us the bum's rush and get all of Barack Obama's radical extremist judges through the Senate with a 50-vote majority and not a 60-vote majority. They will abuse power if they have it because that's what they believe power is there for. And now I'm kind of with the president on doing away with the filibuster and get everything through. And then when the Democrats take over, maybe they'll want to undo it and restore the filibuster. I doubt it because they're like a third world country living among us. Thanks, Dee. Phil asks, hi, Chris. I was wondering, with the election of the communist Zohran Mamdani to mayor of New York, should the city's nickname be changed from the Big Apple to the Big Lemon? Or do you have an even better name in mind? I haven't worked out. They got the Big Red Apple is the front page of the New York Post. And I got it, the big dark and remote location. It's the big nobody goes there anymore place. We'll come up with a new name for it now that the commie Mamdani, who's a jihadi, and apparently, according to CNN, he got more than 30% of the Jewish vote in New York City because lack of public education or something like that. Isn't that amazing? But you're right, Phil. It does deserve a new nickname, and what I haven't worked on it myself. I'm going to start thinking about it now, though. And a lot of people will be working on this at the same time. Abigail asks, hi, Chris. Since the world is truly on fire and we're all going to die soon after Tuesday's election results, what's your guess when the Democrats will vote to open the government? Well, that is a great question because, they shut down the government in order to corrupt the vote in Virginia. That was one of the designs that they had to corrupt the vote in Virginia. A lot of federal government employees in Washington live in Virginia, and the government shut down and people furloughed and missed 1 paycheck on the path to missing 2 paychecks, and they corrupted the election in Virginia. They wanted to win in Virginia. They wanted to win everywhere. They're fanatical when it comes to that sort of thing. But when will they open the government? At this point, the lack of leadership is so extraordinary in the Democrat Party, the Lizard King, Chuck Schumer, and all of that. And there's nobody really leading them. Barack Obama's corrupt, and he's not leading anybody. When will the government open? I'd like, for the sake of government employees, I'd like to see it open today. The Democrats have had 14 opportunities to reopen the government since they shut it down, and 14 times they voted to keep it shut down. And I got to tell, I've given up trying to predict what the Democrats are going to do next. I guess the short answer is, when it's the most self-serving thing that the Democrats can do, that's when the Democrats will reopen the government, because all they have to do is say, okay, let's open the government. That's it. All right? I have one more coming up, one more mailbag question coming up. I'll get to it in just a few minutes. Thank you, Abigail. From handcrafted steaks to delicious fall favorites, the great people at Omaha Steaks, they deliver the world's best steak experience. And right now, during their semi-annual sale, you can save 50% off the entire website at omahasteaks.com. Plus, because we hang out together, you're going to get an extra $35 off with the promo code PLANT at checkout. My best girl and I, we love the filet mignons from Omaha Steaks, cook them up in my grandfather's iron skillet and make them perfect, and they're just delicious and juicy. And I love cutting into them with a great knife. Right now is the perfect time to stock up on the exceptional handcrafted flavor and convenience of Omaha steaks. Listen, they also carry mouthwatering burgers and chicken and pork and seafood, and they have great desserts as well. So bring home the legendary flavor and everyday convenience of Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide, the entire website, during their semi-annual sale, and for an extra $35 off. Use the promo code PLANT at checkout. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com. Another $35 off with the promo code PLANT at checkout. Terms apply. See the site for details. Yes, sir. I do have one more mailbag question. One more mailbag. Now that coming up, and all of the madness that the Democrats can dish out. All right, and our last and final mailbag question for the day. T-Bone says, "Hi, Chris. Have you given any thought to where you wish to retire when the time comes?" Retire? What's that? You seem to be more of an urban dweller. That's true. I'm a cliff dweller. I'm a building dweller, cliff dweller in the urban environment. I like to be able to walk to a lot of places. But I like the outdoors and mountains and rivers and things, too, very, very much. You seem to be more of an urban dweller, yet Florida is where it's at. But are there any rural areas you could be happy with? All in all, I hope you're still entertaining us well into your 80s. Well, I guess I hope I am, too, because I have bills to pay. I'm no billionaire. I'm no millionaire. I can't do all that. But you're right, T-Bone. I think I am more likely to be an ongoing urban dweller and a cliff dweller. We building dwellers are cliff dwellers in an urban environment. However, I got to tell you, I love Wyoming. Boy, I love Wyoming. And I love the mountains, and I love beautiful outdoor places more than any place. Mountains and water. I'm less a beach guy. I'm more of a mountain guy. And I've got to say, when I visit the North Shore of Chicago, I often think, boy, the North Shore of Chicago is awfully nice. I left there when I was a teenager. But it's not rural, but it's a little quieter. They have trees.